You know how some dreams just fade away the second you wake up? And then there are others, the ones that stick with you, that leave your heart feeling heavy all day. Dreaming of crying over someone's death is definitely one of those experiences. It can be so unsettling. So let's dive right in and try to understand what this incredibly powerful dream can mean from an Islamic perspective.
Waking up from a dream like that, your mind is probably racing, right? Is it a bad omen? A warning? And look, that fear is completely understandable. But what you'll find is that these dreams are rarely what they seem on the surface. We're going to peel back the layers and find the hidden messages they might be trying to tell you.
In the Islamic understanding of dreams, an experience this emotionally charged, well, it's not something to just brush off. It often carries a really significant meaning. It could be about mercy or relief from a hardship you've been going through. It could even be a spiritual heads-up or just a deep emotional truth that really needs your attention.
Okay, so the very first thing we need to get our heads around is this. Dreams speak in a language of symbols. They're almost never literal. So before we go any further, the key is to take a deep breath, move past that initial panic, and start thinking metaphorically, because that's where the real meaning is hiding.
Think of your dream like a puzzle. Every single part is a piece. To solve it, we need to look at the two most powerful symbols here, the idea of death and the act of crying itself. So let's start with the one that causes the most fear, shall we?
Now, here's what's so fascinating. In the symbolic world of dreams, death almost never means actual physical death. Instead, it usually points to a huge transformation. It could be the end of one chapter of your life and the start of a new one, or maybe even a really important spiritual turning point.
And just like death isn't literal, crying isn't just crying. The entire message of the dream can completely flip based on one tiny detail, the way you were crying. This right here is the key that unlocks whether the dream is a message of comfort or a call to do some self-reflection.
So let's break this down because this part is crucial. I want you to think back to your dream. Were your tears quiet, maybe even gentle? Or was it loud, full of wailing and despair? Your answer is going to guide us straight to the heart of the dream's message.
And this lays it out perfectly. You've got two very different paths. On one hand, quiet crying is generally seen as a really positive sign. It can be a symbol of mercy from Allah, a sign of relief after a long struggle, or even a cleansing of grief you didn't know you were holding on to. It's about the heart softening. But on the flip side, loud wailing, that's more of a warning sign. It could be pointing to some intense anxiety, a deep fear of loss, or maybe it's a reminder to check if your attachment to worldly things has gotten a little too strong.
Okay, so we've looked at how you were crying. Now let's add another layer to this. The identity of the person you were mourning. That's the next big piece of the puzzle. Whether they're alive or have passed on in real life completely changes the interpretation.
So if you were dreaming about someone who's still alive, please don't think it's some kind of prediction. It's not. It could symbolize a big shift in your relationship with them, or maybe a fear that you're growing apart. And what's really interesting is that it could even be about them. It might be pointing to a spiritual change they're going through, or the end of a certain role they've played in your life up until now. Now, if the person in your dream has already passed away, the dream often feels like a bridge between worlds. It can be a simple, beautiful reflection of how much you love and miss them, or it could be a sign that there's some unresolved grief that you need to work through. Spiritually, it's often seen as a direct reminder to do good deeds for them, like making a special prayer or giving charity in their name.
Okay, so we've looked at the death, the tears, and the person. But hold on, because Islamic dream interpretation has one more profound possibility, and this one shifts the entire focus of the dream. It's a pretty powerful idea.
And this right here, this might just be the most important part of understanding your dream. Just consider this for a moment. What if the person you are crying for was just a symbol for yourself? What if the dream wasn't really about them at all, but was a direct message about your own spiritual state?
If you look at it through that lens, the death you witnessed could be the death of an old part of you. It could symbolize you finally leaving a bad habit behind, ending a period where you felt distant from your faith, or experiencing this incredible spiritual awakening and turning over a new leaf.
And if that's the case, then your tears take on this whole new, beautiful meaning. They become tears of genuine repentance. The grief you felt in the dream was for your past self, and the crying was a sign of your heart softening and coming back to God. That's not a dream of despair. It's a dream of immense mercy.
So, after exploring all these potential meanings, you're probably asking, okay, so what do I do now? A dream like this isn't just for analyzing, it's a catalyst for action. Islam encourages us to respond in a way that's rooted in faith, not in fear.
And the guidance is actually really clear and comforting. Use this dream as a gentle nudge to pray for everyone in your life, those who are here and those who have passed. Perform little acts of charity. Increase your connection with God through remembrance. And maybe most importantly, try to let go of that despair and fear and just trust that all souls are ultimately in Allah's hands.
At the end of the day, the real purpose of a dream this intense isn't to terrify you, not at all. Think of it more like a spiritual check-in. It's a divine nudge to wake us up a little, to remind us of what's truly important, and to help realign our hearts with our true purpose.
The biggest takeaway here is that your dream wasn't just a random nightmare. It was a message tailored specifically for you. So whether it was a call to reconnect with someone, a sign of much-needed relief coming your way, or a prompt for some deep self-reflection, the real question is, what will you do with it?